Yo, 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 what is up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to another recap video. So, today is still Friday, March 11th. I just went over my other trade that I did today as well, GFAI. I'll post that one probably first and then this one right after. So, I ended up trading both of these, so I'm be going over this one in its own video. So, we got MGLD. So this one was basically up from $2, went all the way up to near 9, broke down, kind of just consolidated in this $4 to $6 range. Right here, broke out pre-market, and then it just kind of started like falling down. Um, so what I saw from this one was two things. One, it was it had volume pre-market. Two, it was SSR triggered, and it was, I believe, it would go in between top one, top two, on the highest percentage gainer. So just because it's up, 80% doesn't mean it can't still be a good long, right? Doesn't always have to be a short. But when these things are SSR triggered, what I've noticed and seen is that they tend to squeeze, pretty crazy sometimes, and it's just like unexpected. Like you never know. Not all the time it does do it. So let's get that straight. It's not always gonna squeeze just because it's SSR. It just has to set up, and it just kind of has to meet a little bit more certain criteria where it's like if it's trending on the bigger time frame, if it has volume. This it's a new IPO, so if anything, like maybe just because it's that, it has potential for a squeeze. And when they're IPO, they basically, it's a blue sky stock, so if it goes over that 889, it's considered blue skies. And as a short seller, that's kind of like, that's not ideal to be shorting into these kind of new IPO, because there's not a lot of volume in them yet, and you can't bag hold. You gotta have longs bag, basically. But in this case, you don't really have that. It's a bunch of new buyers because it's a new IPO, but it's gapping up huge. So you get that kind of sentiment of, oh well, this thing can probably really go, especially because it had just retested that 760 literally at 5 o'clock, 5:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It hit that 7. So there's buyers here, right? And starts to curl back down and makes new lows. So the first level I was looking at was this first. So you got support right here near that $4, right? 4. And you see it kind of resist, made a new low into 350s, kept retesting 4, and then it just kind of consolidated between there. And then you had this 420 high right there, 420, 418. Call it 420 because see it's also using that as support over here. So my thing was, okay, if I want to see this reclaim 4 to 420, and if that holds as support, then I'll attempt the long, because it has a lot of move to the upside. If you buy at 4, sell at 440, that's 10%. If you buy at 4, you sell at 480, that's 20%. 4, 520, 30%. Start to get, you know. So you got this, and then if it goes to 760, freaking, I mean, if it goes from 4 to 8, basically 100% move, and anything basically between 50 to 100% move that you have potential here, rather than maybe it breaks here, maybe it hangs around 320s. If anything, you could just stop out below 3, but you're still near 3. Buy at 4, risk $1 to make potentially $1, $2, $3, $4. So that was basically the idea here. So now let's zoom in. So we got that 348. So I ended up buying it when it broke over that 410 initially. With only about half size, but then at this point I was like, all right, it already got all the way up here. If it breaks below this trend line and that support 375, I'll just cut it, but if it continued higher, I should have added, but I didn't because I was in GFAI trade, so I was kind of a little bit more focused on that one, but I was also in this one kind of at the same time. So yeah, I just kind of left it at that, and once this broke, I was basically thinking, all right, I want to sell over 450 to 5. So 460 is kind of the where I wanted to really sell though. And basically this thing broke out 430s. It hit 485, and then at this point I was like, all right, maybe I'm probably in a good spot. It went up already, and like you got the volume increasing, a lot of volume. The stars SSR, is basically it meets the criterias. Breaks 485, and then it kind of like rejects, and I'm thinking maybe 5 is the key resistance. It breaks over that 485, so I start selling into that 485, 490s, 495, 490, 485, 480. It broke down to 450, held support at 450, and then I sold it back on the rip to 480. And at that point, I was like, I'm good. 420 to 480s, 60, what is it? 60 cents on a $4 stock. With a 11-12% gain. So, can't really be too greedy. So that's just kind of my rule for myself, just so I don't, get greedy on a move. And then, this thing basically ends up going another freaking $2 at that point. So, it's just kind of funny how that happens sometimes. But, it was a good long. It was a good long opportunity. Whether you got in at 420, 450, you would have still had a lot of potential to the upside. But, see that 6, that was a good resistance right there. So looks like where it failed was literally the same spot that it failed over here. Sellers, buyers, sellers. So it didn't get over it, but it stayed below it. And then see that same support right here? See how it matches up with that support? Interesting. That's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta use the pre-market chart to lay out your plan and your levels that you can buy and sell into. So yeah, perfect little breakout here. And Oh, so I want to show you guys the 1 hour trend. The 1 hour trend. It's like show you why was another good reason to dip buy into it, because it was trending on the bigger time frame. If it's trending on the bigger time frame, that means it's pretty much still bullish. So check it out. IPO stock, 60-minute trend, 1 hour trend, reclaims, make this new high, bounces back down. And you see right here, see how it bounced right off that 350 support, bounced, kind of came back down slow, and literally right at the open it held. And then if it broke over that was basically gonna be like, that was the good spot right there. So I could have scaled out more in this case, but I had no idea this thing was gonna make an 80% move to the upside. I didn't know. I just sell at my target or scale out, But as long as you basically follow your plan, that's all that matters. But yeah, you can see this trend. That was basically your bigger time frame gauge that it could have bounced, plus SSR, plus volume. You know, that's pretty much that's the thought process. But yeah, that's pretty much it for MGLD. Hope you guys learned something. I know I did, always. Post a comment down below if you have any questions. Hit me up in my Discord. I'll post the link in the description below. Sign up to that if you want to join. It's free. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.